What did you make of Reich's decision?
I thought it was a terrible decision, and they're going back and forth talking about playing the game not for a tie. But you just gave Houston an actual win. They were 0-3. I felt like they were a better football team. You had a chance to put Houston in peril because they go down 0-4 to start the season. That could be something that we didn't expect. But for Indianapolis, I understand you're trying to change the culture. You're a first-year coach. You weren't their first choice. It actually was Josh McDaniels. So now you have a franchise quarterback in Andrew Luck, and you're going to put the ball in his hands. I get that. But at the same time, you're giving the game to the Houston Texans.
Well, you're talking to somebody that's absolutely disgusted by ties. I think that it's appalling to me. This ain't soccer, okay? This is football. Even though some would say, okay, it is a football. It's soccer's called football in Europe. It just disgusts me. I don't mind the fact that they went for it because, look, it wasn't the wisest decision in the world, but this is not a Super Bowl contender. The Indianapolis Colts are not going to be but so good this year. You're just happy to see Andrew Luck out there. You go out there, Mike, Jalen, you're trying to compete, you're trying to win a football game. Now, if you got a playoff berth on the line, if you're really looking at yourself as a potential contender or something, that would be different. But we all know they stunk last year. We all know that when we look at Andrew Luck right now, we're wondering whether or not he's got the arm strength. Week to week, we're wondering. You got to remember, somebody was in there last week throwing a Hail Murray. They took him out to throw the Hail Murray. So there were some questions about his arm strength and what have you. So when you look at it from that perspective, you're not expecting but so much from the Indianapolis Colts. And if I don't have but so much to lose, then let me think about what I have to gain. And that's just the way I look at it with a tie. I'm not saying anybody's wrong for thinking differently. I'm just saying for me personally, I can't stand ties. I hate them.
I couldn't disagree with you more. Can I just say one thing here quickly? Sure. The NFL overtime has been cut from 15 minutes to 10. We've already seen 2 ties. We had a bunch of overtime games yesterday that got close. There are going to be a lot more ties in pro football. And this notion that coaches have, we're not going to play for the tie no matter what, Andrew Luck pounding the lectern, it's ridiculous. A tie is better than a loss. The Vikings have one. The Packers have one. Those are going to come into play at the end of the season. It matters. A tie is a legitimate outcome, whether we like it or not.
Well, let me say this, Greenie. I definitely appreciate your passion.
Yes.
Thank you so much for it.
You're welcome.
But I will tell you,
yes,
I emphatically disagree with you. And let me tell you why. Because we don't play the tie. We don't play the tie. There's no one that goes out there that plays the tie. You play to win or you go down swinging. You don't walk away even. I'm just saying.
Hold on.
This is a preference here.
Hold on.
Wrong. Okay.
Let's not act like what the Colts did was going down swinging. That ain't what they did. They gave the game to Houston. That's something totally different.
If they complete it and it's a first down, what happens?
They have a chance to
Thank
win.
you. All right, then. That's going down swinging.
They're still not across the 50.
Time out. Last time I checked, that's not sitting in the ring, leaning against the ropes and getting hit. Okay? You swung, you missed. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
I understand what you're saying, but let's take the specifics of this situation out of the equation. Let me go back to the general thought here. This whole idea of we don't play, I get that you don't get in the locker room before. Let's go out there and tie him today, fellas. I understand that's not what people are going out there intending to do. But it is a legitimate outcome of a professional sporting event now. You can win, you can lose, or you can tie. And you are better off tying than losing.
But that depends on how you look at it. For example, you brought up at the beginning of your argument, they went from 15 to 10 minutes. Well, why did they do that? They did that because we're talking about a very, very violent sport.
Right.
And the less you expose folks to that level of violence, the better. They didn't do it to sort of, facilitate an outcome that results in a tie or whatever. They did it to cut down on the violence.
There were going to be ties.
And you use those words. You use those words a lot. The unintended consequences. What I'm saying is, just because it's unintended doesn't make it acceptable. I find it to be unacceptable. I can't stand ties. As far as I'm concerned, and this is going to sound cruel. And this is going to sound cruel. I think they should play until they drop before they get a tie. I can't stand the fact that it ends up in a tie. I really can't.
I don't even disagree with that. But my point is, the rule is the rule. Your job as the coach is to get the best possible outcome for your team.
All right, well, the best possible outcome is a win.
No, but the best possible realistic outcome, and that he coached as though he would rather lose than tie. And that's my point. You would not rather lose than tie. That is not a better
And you got to consider the opponent. You giving the ball to Deshaun Watson. He throwing it.
The 0-3 Houston Texans.
Right, correct.
Yes.
He complete one pass.
The 0-3 Houston Texans, who have been highly questionable on the defensive side of the ball all year.
Correct.
So guess what? I'm swinging to win. And then all I'm saying to you is this. I understand your point. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying y'all are wrong. We're talking preference here.
Yeah,
and I will literally tell you, I'd rather lose swinging than tie not swinging.
He says their offense stinks. What do you think?
Well, I don't blame him for feeling that way because they were going against the Buffalo Bills. And if you can only register 19 points against the Buffalo Bills, that would give you cause to pause. It would give you a reason to say, you know what, we're just not that impressive right now. And I think that's what we're looking at here. What we're looking at, and we don't, you don't see these professional. Listen, you got guys coming through here all the time that are associated with the National Football League. They try to show class, but we don't have to have that, okay? We can sit up there and just tell it plain like it is. The Buffalo Bills stink. They're awful, okay? And if you're Aaron Rodgers with Geronimo Allison, with Devontae Adams and these boys, and you're thinking about scoring 19 points against the Buffalo Bills, I mean, listen, that's a problem. Don't get fooled by what you saw in Minnesota a week ago. Buffalo Bills are a bad team. They're not a very good team at all. And so Aaron Rodgers, that bad man that he is, certainly there were higher expectations than what we witnessed. He's very disgusted by it. When you work hard all week and you practice and you ready to go and you go up against a team that's dormant, deplorable, whatever word you want to come up with, and all you can walk away from is 19 points. Excuse me, I'm looking my teammates in the face and going, you proud of that? Are you proud of that? Because we stunk. And damn it, we're going to get out on a football field. We're going to practice. We're going to get our stuff going because guess what? I'll be damned if we're going to beat anybody else playing offense like that.
I'm not surprised about how he approached it, and he understands the division just got tougher. The Vikings haven't gotten off to the start that we felt that they would.
Right.
But the Bears not having identity with Khalil Mack. So he's looking at playing in that division, understanding the competition is going to be a lot tougher than the Buffalo Bills.